Let's please go ahead and find a seat if you could. We want to get started right on time. We have a lot that we need to cover this morning. And so please go ahead and find a seat if you would. We're not going to do our regular class this morning on prayer because we have Don English here from Burt Cabot. And he has some updates for us. And the reason we're doing this is the elders and I and others have talked about building up our youth group. And we are the closest Church of Christ to Burt Cabot. We're only 24 minutes away from there. And so it makes sense for us to utilize this great opportunity, having Burt Cabot so close, as a way to build up our youth group. And a lot of exciting things are happening up there. I've already seen Don's PowerPoint, so I know what you're getting ready to see. I am on the board of directors for Burt Cabot, and we've been talking about ways to improve it, ways to make it better for the kids, and so I'm excited for you to see what we're doing there. So with that, I will turn it over to Don.
Thank you very much, Chris. Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. So to start off this morning, I'm really excited about being here. I came a few weeks, I guess a month ago or so. Came about a month ago, and my boys and I visited. I didn't bring my whole family. I'll show you my whole family in a minute here in the slides. But so you know, my wife and my youngest son are not here this morning. My youngest son has autism, and he does not do well with new places. And so when I go and speak like this, my wife, takes him to a familiar place. So, but she sends her hellos. So one of the first things I want to do. Try it again. Oh, there we go. All right. So how did I get here? So first of all, I was born and bred in upstate New York. That's the reaction I most get from people. What?
You don't sound like someone from New York.
Well, that's because I'm not from New York City. Okay, I grew up on a farm in upstate New York. Most people don't realize that upstate New York is mostly forest and farmland. So I grew up in upstate New York on a small little farm. We raised bulls, we raised pigs. It was a fun time growing up there. But anyhow, for the past 33 years we've lived up there. My wife and I were living up there since we got married. And like I said, I've grown up there. Now, how do we get there to here is a simple fact of the last 25 years I've been preaching the gospel in upstate New York. And my mom got sick about 7 years ago. Okay, mom and dad lived down here. She got sick with something called Lewy body dementia, and I don't know how many of you know what that is, but Lewy body dementia, if you have Alzheimer's and you have Parkinson's, and they had a child, that would be Lewy body dementia. It's a fast-paced disease that she's currently near the end of. It doesn't last more than 8 or 9 years. So my mom, we watched my mom as she has gone downhill pretty fast. She's currently in a nursing home in Rowland, and my dad needs help. And so about 2 years ago, I started looking at the idea of, well, maybe I should find a preaching job. Maybe I should find a place to preach closer to home and try to help out. Unfortunately for me, I found several jobs that I could go and preach at, but they were all the closest one was 8 hours away. And I don't know about anybody, if you've ever helped out your parents or helped out anybody, 8 hours is a long commute. That's not a lot of help. That's not a lot of help at all. So I gave up. I gave up trying. It's just like, this is obviously not God's plan. And so my wife and I put a little bit of money aside to, if I had to go help my dad out or my mom, At a drop of a hat, we could buy a plane ticket no matter what it would cost, and just go. And so that was the plan at that time. And then 2 months later, I got a call from a gentleman, Terrell Hatfield, who's on the board also at CAM. And they were looking at trying to find somebody different. For the last 22 years, Samuel has been there, and his wife Joyce, and they were the caretakers and cook for camp, okay? Caretakers and cook. They wanted, actually Sam's idea, they wanted to go in a different direction. Instead of having a caretaker and cook, trying to hire another caretaker and cook, what they wanted to find somebody who could take care of the camp, yes, but also manage the camp and run their own retreats. So he said, we're looking for a camp manager and preacher. And so what I didn't tell you is for the last 24 years, I also was the vice president of Camp Hunt, which is a camp in upstate New York. And so it was like everything that I had been doing with my life was perfect for this one position. God works in great ways. So I said, well, I'll think about it, but I know it's in Oklahoma. I've never been to Burton Cabin though, so I don't know how close it is. And so I said, okay, let's find out how close it is. I got this map out, and there's Burton Cabin up on the top there, okay? And you know that little Finger Peninsula that comes out into the lake there? Yeah, it points right to my dad's house. Okay, and so it was a big lesson. It was a spiritual lesson for me. It really was, folks. It was a really big spiritual lesson. I tell this all the time. I tried to control the situation. After 25 years of preaching to people, hey, let God take care of it, I tried to control the situation, and that got me 8 hours away. God controls the situation. He gets me 20 minutes from my dad's house. So folks, I speak from experience now. Listen to God. Let Him take care of it. So that's how I got here. I have a big family. This is my family. It's actually at Camp Hunt in upstate New York. This is my family. I've got 6 kids and 6 grandkids. My wife and I have been married for 34 years. In 2 weeks it'll be 34 years. And so we've got a big family, and they are spread out a little bit. My youngest daughter and her husband are in the Navy. They're in Georgia. And then I've got 2 daughters that are in Arkansas. And then I've got my 3 sons who are all still with me. And 2 of them are back there, still hanging around. The oldest one gets married in August at camp, by the way. So that's them. Now, what can I tell you about Burton Cabin, though? That's me. I want to tell you a little bit about the history of Burton Cabin very quickly. The history of Burton Cabin is it started in 1959. Been around a long time. Okay, it didn't originally start at Burton Cabin. It actually started more towards Fort Gibson, I guess. I'll put it that way. But now it's been there since 1959, and it has grown quite a bit. This is an aerial shot. It's an old one, and we got some new ones that we're going to look at too. So it's been there since 1959, and in 1989, the camp almost folded. I don't know how many of you know that, but in 1989, they were looking at possibly having to sell that camp, and because it was underwater, okay, as far as financially. And so a bunch of churches got together. I know Fort Gibson was one of them, and Chandler Road, and South College in Tahlequah, and Broken Arrow. There were 5 of them, I don't remember the 5th one, but there were 5 of them that got together and said, what are we going to do? We don't want to lose this camp. And so they decided in 1989 that what they would do is an eldership from one congregation would take over maintaining the camp and running the camp for 5 years, okay? And then one of the other congregations there would take it for 5 years, and then another one for 5 years, and another one for 5 years. Well, Tahlequah stepped up and said, okay, we'll do that for the first 5 years. And then after the first 5 years, they went to all the other ones, and they all went, You're doing such a great job. And so, for 34 years, the Telequa congregation has run the camp there under their eldership and has done a great job at financially keeping it above water. Okay? And so it was wonderful. But one of the challenges that I was given also was because I was part of the board of trustees up in New York and had been vice president and known all the ins and outs of what it takes to have a board. That was one of my challenges that was given to me was we want to be back to what we're supposed to be. Okay? And that is, Burke Cabin is its own entity. Okay? It's its own entity. It is a 503c. It is technically it is Burke Cabin Christian Camp Incorporated. Okay? And so we wanted to get back to a board. And what that gets you is this. It gets you the ability to have all of the board members from all these other congregations, all different congregations, so that everyone can have a voice in how camp goes. Because that's what we want. The number one thing I want you to, if you don't remember anything today, please remember this. You ready? Please remember this. My true, in my heart feeling about camp is this. Burke Cabin Christian Camp is a tool to be used by members of the church to grow people spiritually and to provide that atmosphere. That's it. That's what Burke Cabin's there for. We want people to use it. Okay? We want people to use it, and that's why we've done a lot of different things with pricing and things like that. So that's the brief history. We now, by the way, it was as of last March, it was accomplished. Curtis is now on the board. We have so many people. There are 12 exactly, 12 that are on the board now, and Curtis doesn't know this yet, and hopefully we're going to vote in the next year here to put at least 3 more on. I'd like to see the board around 15. So it would be nice. That way we could have some more people from more congregations. Now, they will be voted on, by the way, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about that at the end, okay? But they will be voted on. You don't get just appointed to the board and just stay on the board, okay? But let me share that later on. So, camp, obviously you think of summer camp, okay? Summer camp. And it's great the fact that we have summer camp. There are 6 summer camps right now. Actually, this year we added a 7th. The Saturn Road Church of Christ in Garland, Texas is actually going to be coming up. They're excited. They're really excited. They have a youth minister that actually went to summer camp when he was a kid, and he went to Burke Cabin. So he's really excited. Looking for a place. I've been hearing a lot, and I'm not trying to toot my horn, I'm trying to toot camp's horn here, okay? I've heard a lot the last couple of weeks of people coming to visit, talking about using the campgrounds, new places, okay? That we have one of the cleanest and one of the nicest camps they've ever visited. And so that's one of the things that we're trying to do. Again, a tool to be used to grow people spiritually. Okay, that's the whole goal for this. So you think about summer camp and you think, okay, so we're really busy in the summer. Really, somebody said we're really ready, fired up, right? I hate to tell you this, but we're fired up all year long. We're fired up all year long because it's not just the 7 summer camps. That's just a list right there of all the retreats that was last year. We had 23 retreats last year, so 23 weekends were taken last year besides the summer camp. I had no breaks weekend-wise. There were no weekends open between the end of camp and December 7th last year. They filled right up. Now, there's a lot of weeks in the beginning. For some reason, people don't want to go to camp in January and February. I don't understand that. I think it's beautiful out there. By the way, January and February is the best view from camp of the lake, by the way. Nothing on the trees, so it's nice. But I understand that. So January, February, I spend doing a lot of work out there, so it's good. But we've already booked 20 now, over 20 retreats already for this year. So it's going very, very well. So the retreats are, and there's all sorts of retreats, folks. Let me share that. Sometimes it's just a congregation that wants to get away from the normal. They just want to get out and be up there for the weekend. Sometimes it's a ladies retreat. Sometimes it's a men's retreat. Sometimes it is a youth retreat. We got a group coming in on the 7th of March. That is it's a young girls training weekend. The congregation brings in all their young girls and their older ladies, and they teach them all sorts of wonderful things. So it's all good. We've had a lot of things that have been upgraded also there this past year and continuing. Minor Center, which is the one up to your left, up to your left. Minor Center, we've done a few things here. We upgraded the girls' bathrooms. The cellar we upgraded. We cleaned it basically. It was just filled with stuff. It now has ping pong tables and air hockey table for the kids, and the kids love it. Not for that. It is the most used area on camp for one event. Singing in the dark. The kids go down there, and the acoustics, because it's all concrete walls, they love to go down there and sing in the dark. It is just, they turn off all the lights and they just sing. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It just echoes all around. The dining hall, which I'm going to talk about later, but the dining hall last year, just the upper dormers, they were leaking. The windows were all leaking. This second oldest building is second oldest building in the campground. So all the upper windows were all leaking and stuff. So that all got done this past year. And then the sports pavilion that you see in the bottom right-hand side, that also got a new roof last year. So there's a lot of little things were happening, a lot of cleanup. We also decided that we put a deck on Minor Center. This is definitely the most used place, not when it's snowing like this, but ever since we put that on, every retreat has just used that every evening and every morning. They love sitting out there and drinking their coffee out on the deck out there. So it's a wonderful thing. We're hoping to actually put a deck all the way around the outside eventually. So this has been my big project for the last few months. One of the things that was lacking at camp, if you've been out to camp, you know this. Where are the bathrooms?
In the dorms.
In the dorms. Every bathroom's in a dorm. And when you're at summer camp, you don't get to go to other people's dorms to use the bathroom. You have to go to yours. And so, unfortunately, all those high school boys hike all the way up the hill to go to their bathroom. If they're down at the basketball court, they got a long hike to go. It was decided way before I came that they wanted to put restrooms in. So we have actually put some restrooms in, and they are looking good. They are functional at the moment. They're not complete. I got to put some doors on the stalls and things like that. But they are complete now with heat and air. So I was telling some people the other day that it's one of the nicest, warmest places on camp, especially in the cold weather. So people are going to be hiding out in there, I think. I imagine it's going to get pretty cold in there too. So the restrooms are just about complete. We've got a little bit of work around the outside, some concrete work that we're going to be doing, some sidewalks and things like that. But it's looking really good. It's right off the end of the canteen, so it's kind of right in the middle of camp. So we'll have that, and it's a very, very short walk from the auditorium, the outside auditorium that we use to worship in. So that way kids don't have to go very far at all. So we're excited about that. Another thing that's being built, and sorry to get very close to this, it was really muddy when I was trying to take this picture. So that structure down there that looks like some sort of house being built down in the middle of nowhere, that is called the Memorial Amphitheater. It's a 10 by 30 pergola. Okay, it's going to be a 10 by 30 pergola, and it'll have seating coming back towards you here. So if you're looking at that, back towards you, there'll be seating for about 120, 150 somewhere. We're not sure exactly how many at this point. Over 100, well over 100. So the idea there again is another meeting place. It's also going to have a plaque that as you enter into that Memorial Amphitheater. There's a lot of people that donate money to camp in memory of fill in the blank, okay? I want to put a plaque and actually memorialize their names and have their names on that plaque. Okay, that's one of the things that I want to see happen. And so this pergola will be, when it is done, it will be done actually. It will be done this year, I can guarantee that, by the way, because my son plans on getting married there August 9th. So he has a vested interest in that to be finished, and so it's easier to get him to help with it. Right? So, but we're excited about having that. It's going to be used all summer long. It'll be used at every retreat, I guarantee it. One of the things we're talking about is they want to be able to put up a sheet between the pergola, between the posts of the pergola, and actually do outdoor movies and things like that for the kids. So it's going to be a great place to have for outside worship also. So that Memorial Amphitheater, that is definitely one of the projects for this year. Also, I don't have any inside pictures yet of this, but this is the director's housing. How long you? Let me ask this: who's been to camp the longest? Like the earliest? Like anybody? Okay, that's okay. So back in the day, I was looking for somebody a little older. Back in the day, this was actually the very first building ever built at camp. Okay? And back in the day, this was the kitchen and dining hall. All right? It is an old building. Actually, on the back side of it, they actually had to put supports up to keep it from sliding down the hill. But those supports are there, they've been there for years, and they're working very well. So it's in no danger of falling down or anything like that. But it's currently been being used for several years, decades actually, as the director's housing and the nurses' quarters. And so inside the back half of it is just an open room and then 2 bedrooms, one for the male lifeguard and then one for the director. And then the front side of it here that juts out towards you is the nurses' quarters, which has 2 beds in it, and a bathroom, 2 beds for sick kids right next to each other, right next to each other. So if one of them's sick and one of them's really not that sick, he will be, don't worry. And then a nurse's bed for her to sleep in a little alcove with a curtain, okay? Not much. So this is our main project for this spring. So we've already been able to, with the cold weather, it was nice actually having cold weather because we took our propane heater and took it inside there and made it nice and warm. And so now inside the director's place is 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. And an open area. It's already all studded up. We have sheetrock on most of it. It's all insulated. And so we're looking to have that actually done before camp starts. The nurses' side is going to be remodeled also. It's going to have 2 small isolation rooms for the sick kids, okay, 1 bed each. And then it will actually have a nurses' quarters in it. Where they can go in and actually close the door and have their own little area. So all within the same footprint of this building, and then also it's going to get a deck around the whole thing also. So it's going to become a wonderful place to hang out also. And what that's going to do for us in the long run is also open it up for rentals for retreats. Currently, we don't rent this at all. It's used for summer camp, and then we close it down because it currently doesn't have any heat or air conditioning besides some window units, and so we just close it down usually. But we're going to be fixing that problem. So we're gonna be able to use this, which a lot of people are excited about. So, the other one is this. This is the big one I wanna talk to you about. The lodge. The lodge was the second building built on camp, possibly the third. There was an old cement block building that was out there that they used for the nurses' quarters at one point. We tore that down to put the bathrooms there. But this has definitely been there for a long, long time. And I'm gonna be honest with you. It needs some TLC. It desperately needs some TLC. We did the top dormers last year. It's got a good roof. We've got that. But around the bottom part of it, it's been, unfortunately, there's no gutters on it or anything like that. And so the bottoms are rotting down the bottom. So the bottom, probably 16 to 18 inches, is going to have to be removed and fixed on the outside at least. We may put siding on it instead to keep that from happening later on. It's just a wood siding right now. But we have big plans for this. One of the biggest issues that we have, and it's a great thing to have, is that some of the bigger sessions do not have enough seating in the dining hall. I don't know about you, but I think that's a pretty good problem to have, right? Now, there was an idea a while back, I think it was a decade ago, that they were thinking about building a whole new dining hall. The board has scrapped that. We're not doing that. It's way too much money, and we do have a facility that we can make into something that will hold. That's this. And so I'm gonna tell you right now, this is a big project. This is a big project, but what we're gonna do is this. As you look at the bottom part here, what we're going to do is we're going to enclose all that. We're going to bring the top part of it, we're going to enclose with windows, and so that you still have that beautiful lake view. And it will become an upstairs meeting area. You'll have an inside upstairs meeting area with a gorgeous view. And then we're going to put a roof coming down from about midway of that railing that you see out towards the end, and then we're going to open that entire bottom half open right to the other dining hall area. We're going to open that all up, and that will give us additional seating of almost 100 people. So we're really excited about that. There's a lot of foundation work that has to be done. Unfortunately, anybody know any good foundation people? Let me know. Seriously looking for somebody. I'm dead serious. I'm seriously looking for somebody because that outside deck out there, there was no footers ever put underneath that. And so I got fixed before we could actually add to, close it in. So we're also going to be doing a kitchen remodel. It's actually going to be pretty intense. We have 2 walk-in coolers in there that are work most of the time. We're going to put a brand new walk-in cooler and walk-in freezer on the outside of the building. We're going to close it, but we're going to do a little small addition out the back of the building for that. And what that is going to allow us to do is pull those other 2 out and give a washroom area, and a little more storage. So it's going to add about 800 square feet to the kitchen, which will definitely increase the usage of the kitchen. Usefulness of the kitchen, sorry. So we're really excited about that. And we already have new heat and air going in. The Broken Arrow group, the congregation of Broken Arrow has a lot of HVAC guys. Don't know how you do that, I don't know, but they do, and they've volunteered their time, and they are putting in a giant 6-ton unit right now into the dining hall. So we're upgrading that as of this spring here, so we're all good. So there's a lot that's been going on also around the camp. Now, one of the things that very few people knew, and I didn't even know it until I got there and started looking at things, is and I'm going to come over here for this. Listen, you've seen the picture of the camp, okay? This big rectangle here. What most people don't know is this 12 acres back here is owned by camp also. It's all just a wooded area. And unused, untouched. And so one of the things that I have been working on diligently this past year is opening up a little bit of it. I'm not trying to clear it completely. But what I have been doing is talking to some people about different things. One of the things we did was we opened up a small portion of it and put an archery range in. That's already there. Actually, that is the picture of the archery range right there. It's got 6 bays. It's wonderful. It's got all new Genesis bows and arrows. And we even color coordinated it for the kids, so they know which target they're shooting at. Most of the time, I actually had a kid shoot at the wrong target. I said, "What color are your arrows?" He goes, "They're green." "Which target did you shoot at?" "Well, I shot at that one." "It's not green. Look at it." "The other target is green. It's right there. It's right in front of you." But anyhow, the kids, this is one of my favorite things. I'm going to tell you right now. It's one of my favorites because of the fact I got to help the summer camps by teaching the kids how to shoot. And it's just so awesome to have the kids go down there the first day and go, "Yeah, I can't do this. I can't do this." And they can. They really can. And have them, the first day miss the target every single time, not even hit the target. Get excited when they come close. But by the end of the week, they were all hitting the target. And it was a lot of fun. It was just a lot of fun to have that. We're also doing a lot of other things when it comes to that area. That area we're going to be adding, let me see. Yeah, you can barely see on this, but I got to get better pictures here. But up in the corner up there, your left-hand corner, you'll see little purple boxes. Those little purple boxes are just pads, concrete pads that are going to be put up, or stone pads that will be put there. We're going to actually have an RV area where you can bring a camper or an RV and be able to pull in and have full hookups. Now that's going to be dependent on, you can see at the top of your screen, you can see that there's a road there now. Donnie and Karen Young are the people that own the marina and the Timbers, which is the RV park that's out there. They're building a house out that way. Okay, out to your right there, way out there. It's probably one of the most beautiful views of the lake you've ever seen. But hey, he has been so nice to us. So nice. Number one, he paid camp, quite a bit of money a couple of years ago to purchase 30 feet of our property across the backside, so he can put that road in. So that's his land, the 30 feet. But we have access to that road. He's given us full access to the road, and he's putting the utilities at his own cost. He's putting the utilities, the electric and the water down through there, and is going to put an electric meter and a water meter on that for us up on that side, so that we can be able to put in an RV area. So one of the great things about the RV area is, oh, by the way, and that's just tip of the iceberg with Donnie. Donnie actually came in 3 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. He came in and he's like, "Yeah, we're going to be clearing a lot of stuff on our property. We're wondering if you wanted anything cleared." So I'm going to tell you right now, the RV area that I thought would take us a couple months to clear it out there, it's all cleared already. It's all cleared for free. For free. He just went in there. He's got one of those little buzz saws on the front of his little Bobcat and skidster, and he just went through it. And it was fantastic. It was really fantastic. So that's all free and clear already. So once the water and electric go down through there, then the board will start talking about the RV sites. Now, the RV sites are not as important to summer camp as they are to something else. So how many of you ever heard of sojourners? Okay, Curtis. Okay, so let me tell you what sojourners are. Sojourners are retired people, and a bunch of retired people that they just want to help out churches, camps, anything with Churches of Christ, okay? They just want to go and help. And so they all, the interesting thing is they all live in their RVs, okay? And so they go all around America, and they just pull in for a month. Or a few weeks, or whatever you want them to be there. And they just come and they just help. And it's a wonderful thing to have, but in order to have that, you have to have RV slots. You have to have full hookups. We did the same thing at Camp Hunt in upstate New York. We put an RV area in specifically to have sojourners come. And it was a wonderful experience that we had them there many times. And it's just a wonderful experience. And you get to meet some people from all over the place too. I had a guy from Wyoming one time that came and stayed for a while. It was really fascinating to get to know them. So that's one of the things we're going to do with that area out there. We're also going, and that's just, it won't look that pretty, I guarantee you. The other thing is those blue squares that you see. So one of the things that when they hired me, one of the things they asked is, hey, since you've been preaching, you ever done a marriage retreats? I was like, yeah, I've done a few marriage retreats. I'd love to do a marriage retreat. They said, great, we'd like to have a burnt cabin marriage retreat, and maybe even an annual thing. I'm like, that sounds great. And then I got to burnt cabin. And the one thing about burnt cabin that I noticed right away when I was thinking of marriage retreats is what? Well, they're all dormitories. There's no family housing. There's no family housing there. It's all dormitories. And I don't know about you, and this joke may not go over well, but I'm going to tell you right now, you get men and women that are coming to a marriage retreat, and they learn stuff the first night, and then they go back, all the women to one place and all the men to the other place. You might as well do the same lesson over again, okay, the next morning, because that's about how it's going to go. So anyhow, so one of the things I'd like to do, this is an eventual thing, folks. This isn't going to happen right away, anytime soon. Is down this hillside over here, I'd like to see about 12 family cabins. 12 family cabins where you can put a family can come and stay at camp, or you can have several families come and have their own facilities right there in their own cabins. And so that will open up again more rental possibilities and more income for camp. Okay, let me say this real quick. I've mentioned income several times already, and I don't want you thinking that camp's all about money. What camp's about is keeping the price of camp in the summer low. And the way we do that is by doing all these other things. Okay? So we're able to keep camp at the moment. And I don't know if it sounds a lot to you or not, but I think it sounds pretty low. Right now, a week of camp is $240. And that's pretty good. Pretty good for 2025. That's pretty good. I know Camp Hunt up in upstate New York, we've had to go up $5 every year.
It's $280 this year.
It's $280 this year? So $280 this year. And that breaks my heart, honestly. So I know a lot of people who can't afford that. So anyhow, we're also using this back area. Look, there's our idea of what the cabins may look like. We'll see. The other thing that I've been working with is this back area. I've already started working with all last year, actually, is Trail Life USA. Trail Life USA, if you guys don't know what that is, when Boy Scouts started to go south, go the wrong direction, Trail Life started. So Trail Life's been around for about 12 years. And Trail Life is specifically a very church-based Boy Scout program. That's what it is. All right. And its sister thing is Heritage Girls. Okay. So I've already had 2 troops that have been coming out to camp, and they've been helping me clear trails. And we've got a beautiful camping area down there now. And so they've been using it. They were just out, actually 2 weeks ago they were out there. They did their survival camp out weekend, where they came out and they actually had to build their own shelters and stay in them overnight. which was unfortunate for them, one of the coldest nights that was. But it's another thing that we're able to use this land for. Now, one of the other projects I want to tell you about that I don't have pictures of because I just didn't know what to put up there, is one that's near and dear to Curtis's heart. Okay, and that is we're going to be putting in a 9-hole disc golf course. Okay, and yes, for the kids, and yes, for additional income. Okay, at the same time, all these things we're trying to do for both. All right, so we're trying our very best to do everything we can again to keep that cost low for camp. So that disc golf course is going to go around the outside of camp, around well, I guess it would be the eastern side of camp, around the eastern side of camp, through the woods. He tells me this is this is more his thing than mine. I don't know that much about disc golf, but I know he knows it very intimately. So that's his project, and I'm excited. I'm very excited. I'm very excited about that. So we're hoping to do that also in the coming year. So that's really all the So how can I help? I go out and I talk to congregations and I try to tell them what's going on at camp. And I have to be honest, there is still the ability, how can you help? Well, there's a couple different things. Number one, if you ever want to come and volunteer your time at camp, I live there. Come anytime you want. Okay? Give me a call beforehand, you can come. There's always something to do at camp. You just want to get away for the day, be up towards the lake, help out with the camp for the kids. I guarantee I can find, I have a list of 85 different things that need to be done right now. So there's always something to be done at camp. So that's the number one thing, especially if you have certain skills, if you have different skills, or if you have no skills at all, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I can always use volunteers at camp. That's how we keep the cost of camp so low. And yes, the other way we do that is for all these projects, we ask for money. If you'd like to donate money towards camp, if you'd like to help out for any of these projects, please help. Because it does make a big difference. And I will give you some numbers. I don't like to just try to fundraise without telling you what it's going to cost, okay? So that I like people to know what we're doing. We're an open book. So we're looking at the disc golf course costing us about $2,500, is that correct? So the disc golf course is going to cost us about $2,500. We're going to rent some equipment to take down some trees and things like that, and put some concrete pads down, and buy some new goal baskets. So that's going to be about $2,500. The director's housing currently we already have enough money to do the internal design that's going to be done, but we don't have enough money to finish the deck that's going to be on it, or the air conditioning, heat and air that's going to be going into it. So we are trying to raise probably about $15,000 for that. Right? All right. And then the big one, now hold on to your hats for this one. The big one, our big remodel for the dining hall, we're probably trying to raise upwards of $80,000. Just so you know, the foundation alone is going to cost us $15,000. And that's unfortunate, but it's the way it is. So we are trying to raise money. And so if you're interested in giving money, or if you want to give money but you'd rather see it go towards the kids, you can do that too. There's definitely, you put in the memos or checks or just a note in it and said, hey, I'd like this to go to the kids program. I guarantee 100% that it would go to the kids program. That it will not be used for anything but that. When checks come in, that's one of the things that we have to do, is if it has a nettle on it, it has to be restricted for that use only. It's by law, so that's what we do. So there's plenty of ways to help. Volunteer your time is I definitely need money, but volunteer time is huge. Okay, I can't express how wonderful it is. And besides that, my wife and I love having people out there. The weeks get kind of lonely out there. Weekends are busy, but the weeks are kind of lonely out there. But it's a wonderful place to be. So here's the other way you can do this. I was talking about on the board earlier, Burke Cabin Booster. Okay? What this is by doing this on an annual basis, okay, you become a member of the corporation. Now, how many of you have ever gotten a card in the mail that says, hey, your insurance company is electing new people to the board. Fill this out if you'd like to vote, right? You've seen those? Well, same thing with us. We have to have a membership to be a 503c company, okay? So in order to be a 503 nonprofit, right, company, we have to have a membership. So this is the way you do it. You have a membership, it's an annual due, and then what that allows you to do is it allows you to vote for who's on the board. Every 3 years, starting in 2027, okay, we're giving the new board members, since, Kurt's only been a board member of camp, I've only been a board member of camp since March. So we're gonna give us some time to actually do something, right? And then in 2027, the first 4 people will come up for vote. Right? And then the next year, 4 different ones will come up for vote, and the next year, 4 different ones, and it'll repeat again. Okay, and the membership is who votes for who's on the board. Okay, and that allows, again, your voice. We're also going to start this year. This year, we're going to start in December. We're going to have an annual membership meeting out at camp. We're going to have you out. We're going to have you come to a lunch probably, or a breakfast. I'm not sure which one you have, but anyhow, we're going to have you come out and eat with us and meet with the board, and we want to hear what you want. We want to hear what you want to see camp, the direction you want to see camp go. So there are definitely some rules about this. You have to be 18 years or older. You have to be a member of the Church of Christ and in fellowship. And then the memberships are for a single person, 50. If you want to do it as a couple, it's 75. And again, that's an annual thing. So it gives you a voice in the corporation. We love to have that. We'd love to hear from you. We really would. So, yeah, I should have said that. Any questions? Yeah.
Where do you baptize people?
Where do we baptize people? We got pool. Before that, they used to baptize in the lake. I think there was one person last year that actually did get baptized in the lake because they just wanted to be baptized in the lake. So it's a little bit of a walk down the lake. So, and it's a little cooler. The pool's pretty nice. Almost too warm in the summertime. I'll tell you really quick, I know we're out of time, but listen, we actually opened up the pool last year, March 25th. March 25th. Because we looked at the water temperature, and the water temperature was already 68. And both my boys are competitive swimmers in upstate New York, and the pools up there are normally about that. And so we said, wow, we're already at 68. Might as well open the pool. And so last year we had it open from March 25th all the way until November, actually. November. So it's a lot. Any other questions? I really appreciate your time. Thank you. And I'll answer any other questions if you have them later on.
Hello, I'm Curtis Hartshorn, minister at the Lake Road Church of Christ in Gore, Oklahoma. So glad that you took the time to hear this message from God's Word, and really pray it will enrich your faith. Now, if there's anything we can do for you, if you have any questions about the Bible or the Lord's Church, feel free to email me at the address at the bottom of the screen, or stop by and visit anytime, 2080 North Main Street in Gore, Oklahoma. May God richly bless you as you strive to know Him more deeply.